skepticism of Ukraine's focus on Crimea. Ukraine's increased missile strikes on Russian-occupied Crimea have raised skepticism among some US officials within the Biden administration. Ukraine has escalated missile attacks on Russian-occupied Crimea in an attempt to disrupt Russian supply lines and logistics amid ongoing conflict in southern Ukraine. However, some officials within the US government view this strategy with skepticism. According to these officials, the attacks on Crimea might be considered a distraction from more significant objectives or even a wasteful allocation of resources. They argue that Ukraine's focus should be on its counter-offensive efforts instead. While the missile strikes may have caught Russia off guard to some extent, they are not seen as decisively impactful. Some experts believe that Ukraine's resources are being stretched too thin across various fronts of attack. Ukraine has targeted key infrastructure like bridges connecting Crimea to Russian-occupied territories, in addition to hitting logistics and resupply facilities. A substantial portion of Crimea, including vital Russian war effort infrastructure, is now within the range of US-provided missile systems. For Ukraine, these attacks are a strategic component of their counteroffensive, aiming to isolate Crimea and hinder Russia's ability to sustain military operations on the Ukrainian mainland. Ukrainian pilots training on F-16 jets in Denmark. Ukrainian pilots are scheduled to commence F-16 fighter jet training in Denmark later this month. The Danish Defence Ministry has announced that Ukrainian pilots will undergo training on F-16 fighter jets in Denmark starting in August. This training initiative involves a coalition of 11 countries. Recent reports indicated that the US has given its approval for the transfer of F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine, with the condition that training is completed. The process is being coordinated by Denmark and the Netherlands with assistance from other countries. Despite initial expectations that F-16s would be delivered to Ukraine next year, the training program's acceleration has implications for the timeline. Transfer of F-16 instructional materials to Ukraine. The US has granted approval for the transfer of 16 instructional materials to Ukraine as part of the training program for Ukrainian fighter pilots. The Biden administration has confirmed the approval of a request from Denmark, an F-16 training partner, to transfer training modules, documentation, and classroom materials related to F-16 jets. This step is critical to initiating the training of Ukrainian pilots on the advanced aircraft. The transfer includes sensitive technology information, and it represents a significant milestone before Ukrainian fighter pilots can start their training. Earlier, the Danish Defence Ministry announced that Ukrainian pilots would begin training on F-16 jets as part of a multinational coalition. Our Secretary of State Antony Blinken assured Denmark and the Netherlands that the Biden administration fully supports the transfer of F-16 jets to Ukraine and that the approval process will be expedited once training is completed.